didn't know who killed who.
I don't understand. Oh, Sam, you sound so downhearted.
Well, I'm sorry. I'll try to loosen up. Stay where you are, sweetheart. I'll be right down to dictate my report on the champion caper.
Dashiell Hammett, America's leading detective fiction writer and creator of Sam Spade, the hard-boiled private eye, and William Spear, radio's outstanding producer-director of mystery and crime drama, join their talents to make your hair stand on end with the adventures of Sam Spade. Presented by the makers of Wild Root Cream Oil for the hair. Before bringing you tonight's mystery, I'm going to take 28 seconds to tell you something that isn't a mystery. It's no mystery why so many millions of men, women, and children have well-groomed hair these days when America's favorite hair tonic, Wild Root Cream Oil, costs so little. Just 25 cents will buy you a get-acquainted bottle and show you how neatly and naturally Wild Root Cream Oil grooms your hair, how it relieves annoying dryness and removes loose, ugly dandruff. Get Wild Root Cream Oil Hair Tonic. Again and again, the choice of men and women and children, too. And now, with Howard Duff starring as Spade, Wild Root brings to the air the greatest private detective of them all in the adventures of Sam Spade.
I read the afternoon paper. I don't understand it either.
Stop that.
Really, after all this time, you'd think I'd get acclimatized to all kinds of human storms. I've got my pencil already. I myself again. I'm ready, Sam. Sam, date? Date August 7th, 1949. To whom, Sam?
Jack Manelli.
To Detective Lieutenant Manelli, Homicide Detail, San Mateo Police. From Samuel Spade, license number 137-596. Subject. Are you listening, Sam?
Subject the champion caper, Jim Manelli. You were there for the end of it, and I was there for the start of it, which is in the reception office of Elliot Champion's brokerage house in San Mateo, and where I first met Mildred Champion. Remember that old salve, how a woman in love is always beautiful? When I went in, I had no idea she was in love and no idea she was beautiful. Not because she had lately been crying, but her sallow face without makeup, framed in a wisp of blonde hair, wasn't flattered by the shapeless black dress, cotton stockings, and low-heeled shoes she was wearing. Certainly not the going idea of beauty. Nor did her conversation reveal anything to indicate love.
Oh, yes. May I help you?
Mr. Elliot Champion, my name's Spade.
Spade. S-P-A-D-E?
You don't have to write it. He's expecting me.
Your business, Mr. Spade?
Private.
I have to have a little more than that, I'm afraid.
Oh, is this hot here?
Mr. Champion can't stand fresh air.
Obvious.
That's what makes it so warm in here. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it is hot. Just flip the switch and tell him I'm here.
Well, what is it, Mildred?
I was just going out. Mr. Spade is here. It says you're expecting him. But I don't find him listed in your appointment book.
Don't be an idiot. Send him in. Send him in.
You may go in now, Mr. Spade.
He always like that?
He's nice today.
Sorry, Mildred. That's your name, isn't it?
His office is the first on the right.
Don't bother. I'll find it.
Thank you. I'll just go to lunch.
Mr. Champion?
Well, don't just stand there. Come in and shut the door. What I have to discuss with you is private. I don't want that snoopy niece of mine listening to our conversation.
She's out to lunch now. But does she listen in often?
All the time. Why?
She didn't know who I was.
I outsmarted her there. I called you from the drugstore on the corner. I don't want anyone to know who you are while you're here. Oh, now, where did I put that lighter?
Behind the inkwell.
Oh, yeah. I'm a dangerous man to play games with. Joseph's found that out once, and if he keeps this business up, he's going to find it out again.
No games? You're dangerous.
Say, are you mocking me, Spade?
Just wondering what you're talking about.
I just told you got ears, haven't you? Joe Josephs is back in town, and I'm not going to fool around with him.
Mildred told me you were nice today.
Oh, she did she? Well, Mildred talks too much. That's what's the matter with her. She talks too much.
And you'd fire her, only she's your niece, and you'd have to pay somebody else 3 times what you pay her to take everything she has to take.
Get out of my office. Oh, no. Wait a minute, Spade.
It's just hot, I guess.
Who has turned on the heat?
It's Joe Josephs. He was released from San Quentin this week. And I've been receiving telephone calls from him telling me to beware and to watch out and a lot of other nonsense.
What was he doing at San Quentin?
2 to 5 on an embezzling count. He's an ungrateful scoundrel, that's what he is. I took him into my office as a junior executive, and 6 months
He
later...
got tired of the $20 a week you were probably paying him and decided to dip into the bin. Only he did a bad job, got caught, you testified against him, now he's out and he's sore and he's threatening.
And every time you yell cop around this town, there's always some snoopy reporter hanging around the sergeant's desk.
Ain't that the truth?
Listen, Spade, I've got $500,000 tied up in this business, and I don't want anybody thinking I might get knocked over by some loony with a grudge.
And that's why you didn't tell the police?
Don't you believe me?
It'll do for now. You'll think of something better.
Now, see here, impertinence is one thing...
25 a day and... No. That'll be 45 a day in expenses.
I want you to find Joe Josephs and bring him to me.
Nuisance warrant?
More than that. I've got enough stuff in that desk drawer to send him back to Quentin if I have to.
Oh, what kind of stuff?
Left over from his trial. It'll be grand larceny this time, and they don't stop at 5 years for that kind of thing.
You withheld evidence?
I withheld... Get out.
My back was only 8 feet from the window, and it came through from the other building across the court. The silencer either ruined the marksman's aim, or he was just a bad shot, because out of 6 tries, he didn't connect with a thing but the desk lamp and a wastebasket. By that time, Champion and I were both on the floor, Champion on top of me. I kicked out to get loose, and he kicked me back. I gave that up and twisted around for my gun. Across the court, a window was open about 6 inches, one corner of which was full of a dark-sleeved hand and a gun arm. I fired at it from what is known as number 6 position.
It's him! It's him! Get him, Slade! Get him, Slade! What do you think I hired you for?
I didn't bother to answer him. I went through the window, onto the fire escape, and over to the next building. I did more. I went in that building, which was apparently vacant, down the stairs, and started out the back entrance.
Hey,
Oh, sorry.
watch it, will you? What's the big hurry?
Hey, he came out of this building. Which way did he go?
Who came out of what building?
This building, right here, just a second ago.
Here?
Yes.
Who?
Him.
Who?
The guy who just ran down
What'd
these
he look
stairs.
like?
Well, he...
Oh, what'd he look like? I tell you, what'd he look like?
Huh?
Who?
What?
Where?
Thanks.
Don't mention it, Curly, anytime.
I couldn't tell her what he looked like because I hadn't seen him. After a careful search of the building, which revealed nothing, I decided my suspect had eluded me for good, and I returned to the office of Elliot Champion. He was sitting on his green leather chair, wearing an expression to match.
Missed him, huh, Spade?
What does Joseph look like?
Oh, I've got a couple of snapshots here somewhere. Yes, here.
Let's have a look. I was later to regret having those snapshots in my person. They showed a tall, thin-faced, haunted-looking guy, an old-looking 28, good face, shock of black hair, and dark eyes. I've seen plenty of cons, embezzler type, and he wouldn't have been cast in a part in my movie. There was nothing about him to indicate that he'd embezzled $2,000 or used a silencer on a gun. I dug 238 slugs out of Champion's wall and went down to the street.
Spade! Oh, Spade!
He was a heavy-set man in a dirty white Panama hat and seersucker suit that didn't fit him around the middle.
Just a minute, Spade, just a minute.
He crawled out of a black sedan, jammed a cigar in his mouth, and began sweating. He needed a shave. He'd always need a shave.
Hot afternoon, ain't it? Yes, sir, sure is hot. Sure is a hot afternoon. Here, my card.
Lemuel Drigger, Confidential Investigations.
Yes, I should ought to have some new ones printed up, huh?
I guess you should order, Lem, and change the name while you're at it.
Huh?
Didn't the commissioner bounce you 9 years ago for rolling a pack before you did the booking?
Oh, let bygones be bygones, Spade. I'm in business for myself now.
How's business, Lem?
Punk.
Try another racket, Lem.
Spade, you been in to see old man Champion, maybe?
Maybe.
I was just going to go in to see him myself when I spot you pull up. I recognize you from the pictures in the paper last week. I figure maybe you and me ought to talk.
What did you figure you and me maybe ought to talk about, Lem?
Oh, you make it tough for a guy, Spade. We're in the same business, you know. What you going to see him about?
So long, Lem.
Hey, wait a minute. I'm an old gumboot, huh? A fat old gumboot who couldn't get a quick as a housekeeper or tail in a punk, is that it? Okay, Spade, okay. You're full of vinegar now, but just you keep my card. You'll want to see Lem Drigger before it's all tied up. You'll want to see me.
Screw, Lem. But he was right. I did want to see him because when I got down to the Chronicle office and looked up a morgue on the Joe Joseph trial, the first thing that jumped out at me was the name Lemuel Drigger. Lemuel Trigger, private detective who had been employed when Mr. Champion had become suspicious of Joseph's account irregularities, and who, together with Mr. Champion, caught Joseph's red-handed, and who willingly offered his testimony the same at the trial which convicted Joe Joseph to San Quentin for 5 years. The file also gave the name of Joseph's lawyer, a man named Anthony Speezer. The phone book showed an apartment address on Geary.
That's you, Aggie? Hold on a minute. I was just trying to get dinner over before you showed up, but I guess I'm late tonight. Who are you?
Mr. Speezer?
That's right.
My name's Spade. I'm a private investigator. I'm trying to locate a former client of yours, a man named Joseph.
Come in, come in. I was expecting Aggie, but come in.
Thanks.
I always fix my own dinner, poached egg and half. Ulcers. Name Spade?
Yeah.
Want an egg?
No thanks. I'm on duty.
Mind if I finish?
It's up to you.
Who's your client, Spade?
Elliot Champion. Joe Josephs is back in town, and he's been making telephone threats and throwing 38s around.
38, huh?
Mm-hmm. You know where he is?
Joe was a nice kid, but a calendar job. Born with one war going on, a depression on deck, and another war in the hole. Makes a difference. The calendar got him. Everything was against him at the trial, too. I couldn't do anything. He thought I let him down and told me so. He got real sore when they read the book at him. Certain Champion and that private Dick,
Lem Trigger.
Trigger and everybody else said he was railroaded.
You were his attorney?
I know, but he didn't have a chance in a million of beating that rap. He thought I ratted when I took the guilty plea in court's mercy, all for a lousy $2,000. Well, he's done his time and he's out now.
He hasn't gotten in touch with you?
Nope.
No threats?
Nope.
Ever write to you from prison?
Nope.
Any idea where he'd be in town?
Nope.
Is it possible he has a mother?
Nope.
Then I guess I leave you to Aggie.
We play records. Aggie used to be a violinist.
Well, it's up to her.
Spade. Spade.
Yeah?
If you find Joe, tell him where I live. I'd like to see him.
Why?
I don't know. Maybe I just want to see what 5 years in the pen does to a kid like that.
Yeah. I'll bet you do. Yeah?
Is this you, Mr. Spade?
Who's this?
This is Mildred Champion. Remember me in my uncle's office?
I remember.
Mr. Spade, you're looking for Joe, aren't you? I know you are. You don't have to answer me. I think I can help you find him. I must talk to you right away before something terrible happens. Please come out to the house before something terrible happens. It's right in the corner.
I got out to the house as fast as I could, but not before something terrible had happened.
Hey.
The front door was open and all the lights were on, and Elliot Champion was lying at the foot of the stairs in the front hall, holding his lapel as if it would get away from him.
Hey, don't touch me. Don't try to move me. It's in my lungs somewhere. I never thought.
It didn't look like there'd be much use, but I beat it up the stairs with a hall phone to call emergency ambulance.
Hello?
What the?
This is Joe. So you hired a private eye to look me up, huh? Well, you'll never find me, but I'll find you. Yeah, Mr. Champion, I'll be seeing you real soon.
I didn't get it then, but I got it a second later. I grabbed for the banister, missed, and hit the top railing. A pair of hands held me up long enough to go through my pockets and then let me go, and that's the last thing I remember.
The makers of Wild Root Cream Oil are presenting the weekly Sunday adventure of Dashiell Hammett's famous private detective, Sam Spade. Now, here's important news on good grooming. If you want a well-groomed look that helps you get ahead, socially and on the job, listen. Recently, thousands of people from coast to coast who bought Wild Root Cream Oil for the first time were asked, how does Wild Root Cream Oil compare with the hair tonic you previously used? The results were amazing. Better than 4 out of 5 who replied said they preferred Wild Root Cream Oil. Remember, non-alcoholic Wild Root Cream Oil contains lanolin. It grooms the hair naturally, relieves dryness, and removes loose, ugly dandruff. So if you want your hair to be more attractive than ever before, get the generous new 25-cent size of Wild Root Cream Oil, America's leading hair tonic, on sale at all drug and toilet goods counters. It's also available in larger economy bottles and the handy new tube. By the way, smart girls use Wild Root Cream Oil, too. And Mother's Day, it's grand for training children's hair. Get Wild Root Cream Oil. Again and again, the choice of men and women and children, too. And now, back to the Champion Caper. Tonight's adventure with Sam Spade.
The neighbors had complained of gunshots, which was fortunate for me. I still might have been lying at the bottom of those stairs in Champion's house, Lieutenant, if you hadn't walked in, applied first aid, asked me my name, and listened to my story. You considered the threatening phone call after my client's death as a cover-up and promptly sent out a general alarm on Joe Josephs. I took an aspirin and a taxicab for home. Halfway uptown, I discovered the pictures of Joe Josephs were missing from my wallet. And that is why I was absent at the medical examiner's inquest this morning. Instead of going home, I went out to San Mateo, jimmied the lock of Champion's office, and violated City Ordinance number 352B. My dead client's desk revealed one important item. An income tax voucher dated August 17, 1944, noting him delinquent. Then I found another important item, same for 1943. His secretary's desk was even more interesting. What I found there led me to, 1, call her home. Result, no answer. And 2, to revisit Attorney Speezer. I found him poaching another egg.
All right, I'm here. It's late, Aggie. What's the idea? Unless it's Beethoven, I don't... Oh, Spade.
Aggie ever show?
Yeah, left early. Has to work tomorrow.
Oh, it's too bad.
What's with you? Still looking for Joe?
Yep.
Any leads? Wish I could help you, Spade.
Elliot Champion was shot and killed in his home tonight.
No.
Is that all you have to say?
Joe do it?
Maybe.
Well,
You don't seem scared for a mouthpiece Joe didn't like.
if you mean should I be next, no. I'm not scared, Spade. The kid should realize that this time I liked him and did all I could.
You've been here all evening?
Aggie?
Could you prove it?
Yep.
You may have to. Did you know Mildred Champion was married to Joe Josephs?
Yeah. How'd you know? It's a secret.
I found his marriage license in a desk drawer.
Nosy, huh?
I found something else. Champion didn't pay his income taxes all the time.
A lot of people are like that, Spade. Me,
Lem Drigger testified against Joe at the trial, so did Champion. Mildred worked in the office, but she didn't testify.
Wife can't testify against husband. Real good story, Spade. But what about Joe?
Champion had something on Lem Drigger, and Drigger had something on Champion. Joe's in between. You tell me, huh?
Huh?
All right, I'll tell you. It's all about a green kid hired into a brokerage firm to be framed on a phony embezzling charge to cover up a tax delinquency. You want to finish it?
I can't. I don't know it.
You've got ideas, though.
Yeah, Spade, you're right. I've got ideas. And all of them make me sick inside. That kid stood there and told me he was innocent. He said it 1,000,000 times if he said it once. And he told me he thought Champion was short with the income tax people.
And if Champion was short, he could phony up a book and get a worn-out private detective like Drigger to testify that there'd been a fraud, and Joe takes the rap.
If that's what happened, they did it pretty good.
Did you mention anything like this at the trial?
Surmise is not admissible. There was no way to investigate it and no way to prove it. Joe was a nice kid, Spade, and he told a good story. I've been fooled a lot of times. What do you think?
I haven't met him yet.
All right, he's done his 5 years. He came out, and now they want him for killing the man who sent him up. His whole life's gone. And for what? Spade, I hope you don't find him. I hope nobody ever finds him.
But we did find Joe Josephs, Lieutenant. He was right under our noses all the time. When I called you, you told me to come on down to the morgue of the county hospital. We both stood and looked at Joe Josephs.
It's a funny thing, Sam. We had an alarm out for an hour on this guy. We've been looking all over for him, and he turns up right here. Only he's dead. He's been dead since last night, about 7.
7? Same time Champion was killed.
TB. Just got the whole story. Had it awful bad in prison on the sick ward his last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Wanted out awful bad. When his time was up last week, he made him release him. But he wound up here, died in the hospital. He looks awful young to be a con and all. I don't know, Sam, he's just a kid, isn't he?
Up until then, you had some kind of case against Joe Josephs. But when the medical examiner reported that my client had been shot with a .32, the rest of it began to fall into place. Lem Drigger's office was a dirty room over a shoe repair shop on Mission Street. The glass on the door hadn't been washed in 5 years, and neither did anything else. You can hardly tell where the office left off and Lem began.
Oh, hello, Spade. I've been waiting for you. I thought you'd get over for some talk.
What made you think that, Lem?
Well, you're here, ain't you?
All right, let's make talk. Did the silencer ruin your gun?
Huh?
Come on, I want it all.
Hey, you
phoned tonight after Champion was killed. You've been phoning him right along saying it was Joe.
No, just a minute, Spade. We're in the same
And
racket.
you shot at him with a silencer on your 38 this afternoon to make it look real good.
You can't prove anything. I didn't kill him.
One slug out of your gun will match that up. Every cop carries a 38. You were a cop once.
Now, Spade, you got this all wrong.
Huh? Because you thought he'd called you in for protection. He called you in once on another job.
Listen, I know what you're thinking,
And
but
business was so bad you had to drum it up, didn't you? Joseph was released from prison and it was a natural, only it didn't work. Champion called me instead, and you tried to shake me down.
Well, I only thought we could kind of work together. You know, make it a good thing.
I told you once you should try another racket. But you didn't take my advice. Now you're going to have to.
What do you mean?
Because your license will be revoked pretty quick. You got into a lot of trouble about 2 minutes from now.
I did? I was right here. What are you
I
trying to...
swore out a complaint on you for assault and battery.
Hey, wait a minute. I ain't done nothing to you. Champion's dead. And
Yes,
I tell
you
that...
did, Lem. You tried to strike me, and I had to defend myself. And I did make out a complaint, Lieutenant. I phoned your office, and 2 of your men were on the way out to pick him up when I heard a footstep outside the door. I knew who was there and what she was there for, and I did the only thing I could think of at the moment. And it was lucky I did it. Her own 32 was in her hand when she came in the door. She looked at me, and Lem's smoking gun in my hand, looked at him stretched out on the floor, then she looked back at me, and the gun fell from her hand, and she began to cry. Hello, Mildred.
I wanted to do it. I came here to do it.
I know.
Why? Why did you?
To stop you.
Why?
My bullets went into the ceiling. He's just knocked out.
No, he ought to be dead. Dead.
No. Not anymore, Mildred.
You tricked me. You knew I was coming here. And you know he should die. You know it.
That won't bring Joe back.
How many real tramps have you met in your life, Mr. Spade?
Lots. And some who just thought they were.
Well, you met the genuine product yesterday. My uncle, for example. He stole money from himself and made it look like Joe did it.
I know about that.
And this one? Why didn't you let me kill him, too? Why?
Easy.
When I went over to see him in the hospital the first time, I knew he was dying. He had that look in his eyes, helpless. And he knew what they'd done to him, and he couldn't do anything about it.
But you figured that you could. So you killed your uncle when you found out Joe died, and you came here to kill Lem.
They killed him. They killed Joe, and they sent him to prison. 5 years I waited for him to get out of that awful place. I waited to hold him in my arms and tell him it was all over. 5 years I waited to help him forget his hate, my hate. 5 years I loved him so much every day.
Oh, easy.
And then he came back to me the way he did. Those pictures were all I had left of him after 5 years of waiting, loving him. Now he's dead. What can you or I or anybody do about what they've done to him? Look at me, Mr. Spade. Go ahead, look at me. I'm not what you'd call beautiful. I'm not even very pretty. Nobody would ever look at me twice. Well, Joe looked at me, and he loved me. Now he's dead, and I'm dead inside. I'm dead inside, and I'll be glad when I'm dead outside.
Period and a report.
Oh, Sam, they were so unhappy.
Yeah. Add a notation that I won't be around for the coroner's inquest.
Sam, you can't do
This
that.
report, when duly notarized, should be admissible as testimony. I want to get out of town for a few days. Sour racket.
And now, listen to this. Later this evening, if you happen to stroll down to the corner for cigarettes or ice cream, why not also pick up some Wild Root Cream Oil Hair Tonic? Your whole family will like the way Wild Root Cream Oil grooms the hair neatly and naturally, relieves dryness, and removes loose dandruff. And ask your barber for a professional application of Wild Root Cream Oil Hair Tonic. Again and again, the choice of men and women and children, too.
Here it is, Sam. Didn't make any mistakes.
Of course you didn't.
Are you really serious about getting out of town for a few days?
I am.
The world's too much with you, huh, Sam?
Effie.
I know it's poetry, Sam, but it seems kind of appropriate right now. I don't care if she did kill those two men. I feel sorry for her.
What's that got to do with poetry?
Well, it's kind of poetic justice.
Oh.
Why did she dress the way she did in that black dress and low heels?
A form of penance, I guess. A mourning, absence of her missing lover.
Lover?
Yeah, no. Look, you'll have to type it all over if you keep that up.
But, Sam, it's all so beautiful and tragic.
Yeah.
And you watched it all happen with such understanding. I'm so proud of you. Oh, Sam.
Come on now, come on. Dry up and go home.
Good night, Sam.
Good night, sweetheart.
The Adventures of Sam Spade, Dashiell Hammett's famous private detective, are produced and directed by William Spear. Sam Spade is played by Howard Duff. Lorene Tuttle is Effie. Tonight's adventure with Sam Spade was written for radio by E. Jack Newman. Music was directed by Lud Gluskin, with score composed by Renee and Pierre Garrigay. Join us again next Sunday when author Dashiell Hammett and producer William Spear join forces for another adventure with Sam Spade. Brought to you by Wild Root Cream Oil. Again and again, the choice of men and women and children, too. This is Dick Joy reminding you to get Wild Root Cream Oil, Charlie. It keeps your hair in trim. You see, it's non-alcoholic, Charlie. It's made with soothing lanolin. You better get Wild Root Cream Oil, Charlie.
Check, testing 1, 2, fuck it. No, really, I can't get there until probably 3 o'clock. Oh, hey, I'll talk to you later. Well, good morning, Joey. How are you today? What's going on? I'm tired. I'm a vegetable. I am a turnip. Is a turnip a vegetable? I don't know. Anywho, I'm gonna have to turn this air back on because it is stuffy and warm in here. It happens pretty quick. So we lost Mark Snow. Good. I'm glad you're all right. Mark Snow, the composer of the X-Files soundtrack, has passed away. So I can't whistle, so my lips aren't working. Oh baby. Oh baby. So today's a pretty mellow day. We've got some old-time radios scheduled and a whole lot of nothing. We're just gonna chill out. I uploaded 8 more videos last night, so all of the night beat for 2 months of Fridays is uploaded. And I've got a few odds and ends to make, a few videos. And then I've got 16 more videos to upload. Those are the Wednesday secondary shows. So every day of the week there's a video, an old time radio video in the morning at 8 and an old time radio video at noon. On Wednesdays there's also 8:30 and noon 30. So I've got to put those 2 time slots together. Every week it's a different 2 shows, and then it repeats itself every month. So there's that. So I have some episodes of I think The Lone Ranger and Suspense to put together. So I'll be loading it up tonight. Later on tonight I'll be cranking out those videos today, and then this evening before I go to bed I'll load up 8 more videos. We've got to go clean a house today, which is no big deal. My daughter finished with jury duty yesterday. She was excused. She just told them straight out what our family's views are on drinking and driving. That's it. That's all she did. She didn't say, oh, I don't want to be here. I hate this. This is boring. Even though, you know, most people hate it and it's boring. She did like the judge, which was cool. So I never did. I never did like any of the people in there. They always rubbed me the wrong way with their perfect little lawyerisms and stuff. I just, nah. You know, laws are great if they're the same for everyone, and they're not. So that's why I believe in anarchy, because the crap we got going on right now only serves a select few. P. Diddy Combs, right? There you go. He should have gone down for everything. And he won't. He won't even spend any fucking prison time. Oh, sure. They refused bail and they haven't let him loose yet. He'll get out. It's all a fucking show. It's all a fucking show. I mean, and if he doesn't get out, I was wrong. More than likely, he's going to get out. He's going to find some way to get out of there, appeal or get off, or house arrest, or I'll be a good boy. Of course, everybody's already talking about how good boy he's going to be now. Oh, he's changed, man. From here on out, he's a good boy. They're all full of shit, all of them. Right on up to Tom Hanks. He's full of shit too. They're all full of shit. Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson. You would think that they were the nicest people in the world, and they're not. They're just as evil as all those other fucking Hollywood celebrities using people. Yeah, no, I don't believe it. I think that they spent time on some of those private islands, and I think they've had their little private parties, but they don't do it where anybody can see. And they don't do it where anyone else is going to know what they're fucking doing. Sure, they're smart, but they're still fucking evil. They're all evil. evil people. And then when they pretend to be good and loving and caring, that's what's really hilarious. Right? Right? Yeah. Because I don't believe for 1 minute that any of these people in Hollywood are decent people anymore. I just don't. There may be a handful who haven't yet been corrupted, but they will. Eventually. You know. And then Hollywood's going to make them feel inferior. No matter how good they are, whatever they're doing, no matter how pretty they are, no matter how beautiful they are, no matter what great humans they are, Hollywood will run them down and say, oh, you got to change this and you got to change that, and nobody's going to like you if you're like this, and you got to do this, and you can't say that, you can't look like this, and they just fall right into it because they believe, they have faith in the Hollywood system. I want a celebrity status. And they'll do anything. And they do. Anywho, Old Time Radio Wednesday here on Mornings with Crazy Old Weird Bearded Guy. I am a little bit distressed lately. Just a little. Mainly over pain. So yesterday we moved our vehicles out of the trailer park where we live, the mobile home park, and they repaved. They didn't repave. They painted, basically. They painted our driveway, street thing here in the mobile home park. I thought they were going to use oil-based tar type stuff and go and spread it and then squeegee it around, and they didn't do that. They took a big giant pump machine and they used our water, the fuckers, and they didn't turn the goddamn water off. It's dripping out there, right? Bastards. So they filled their tank up with black stuff and water, and they used that, heated up to pump and splatter all over the place. It looks good. It's black, but it's not tar. It's some kind of road paint. And they filled in some of the cracks. They did okay. They didn't do a great job. Yeah. Because it's not their place, so they don't give a shit. They were here most of the day, though. In fact, right up into the evening, just before it got dark, they were finishing up. Not only did they do all of the black, but they redid all of the no parking red stripes everywhere. They did all of the numbers, big giant numbers, address numbers. They did the yellow along the sides and the speed bumps. And it looks brand new out there. The cracks are going to crack out again, you know. If it were me, I would go along now. I would go along with that bucket of stuff, and I would pour it into the cracks and let it goop up all over. Because that's what it really needs. And then that would make it look really bitchin'. Totally. They had their chance. They did a little bit, but they didn't. They probably did 2/3 of the cracks, and they just passed over a bunch of cracks. You know, don't hit them all. Just hit, hit some of them. I know how these guys work. Oh, we don't have enough material to hit all those cracks. Hit some of them. You know, go around and make it look good. And that's what they did. They made a good showing. But if you inspected what they did, they did a shit job. I don't remember the name of the company, otherwise I would say the name of the company and say, they did a shit job. So, if you have a paving company come out and paint your driveway, be sure they seal up all the cracks. Say, I'm going to inspect this before you're going to paint it. You ain't painting until I inspect. Yeah, the maintenance guy should have been out there inspecting. Hit these cracks. Hit those cracks. You guys missed some cracks back there. when I was maintenance man at various different places, I made sure that when we had an outside contractor come in to do work for us, I would make sure that they did their job. I wouldn't hover, but I would repeatedly check up on them. How's it going? What's going on? You guys are going to get that, right? Don't forget about this over here. You know, my boss is going to ask me, did they get this? And you ain't got it yet. Be sure to get it. And I would just go around and follow them around, you know, and hit them up every so often while they were there. Are you guys going to really get to work now? Sometimes I'd say, look, I can call another company who wants to make money, who's going to come in here and actually fucking work. Do you want me to get out of here? Get the fuck out of here. I've had to let people go before because they just show up and start fucking doing their usual bullshit, you know. And it's like, no, I'm a contractor. I know bullshit when I see bullshit. Get the fuck out of here. You show up and start doing your bullshit. Yeah, it's going to take a little while. We got to get it. No. You're here because you're supposed to be a professional company. So get professional, get up off your ass and fucking do it. Right? What are you going to do? So what's going on, Joey? What have you been doing lately? I want to know. I want to know right now. Totally. Yeah. Just been working. Yep. I remember those days. I remember the days when all I was doing was working 10, 12 plus hour days. And I would literally come home and say, no, I grabbed something on the way home. And I would have a beer and a pipe load and I'd go to sleep. I'd get up in the next morning and I'd leave before everyone woke up. I'd come home, my daughter'd be asleep, my wife would just be waiting up for me, right? I did that for like 2 decades. Until I finally just got too badly injured, right? And too beat up from work. Now it's all I can do to stay awake every day. Jeez. Yeah. It's really, really cool, though. You know, like I said, I love my life. It's just... It took too long to get to this point. Now I'm all used up. I gotta heat up my coffee, because I gotta have it hot. Ooh, speaking of hot, A Polar Express is back on Netflix. I love that song. Hot. Yeah, I know. That's one of your favorite movies. I love that movie. I'm not a Tom Hanks fan, but that one, who he's like all throughout the whole movie, he's like all characters and shit. That one's a great one. I love that one. It is good. I like the animation. I like the voices, the characters. There's like all of those characters on there. Like they're like people you would know, right? And that's cool. God, I need some cocaine. Is what I need, man. Uh-oh, not the cocaine again. Yeah, man, I need some cocaine. I need the cocaine. Give me some cane. I need the cane. Where's my cane? Wouldn't it be cool if you had a cane that you called your cocaine, and then inside the thing it unscrewed and there'd be a little vial in there? Right? This is my cocaine. That's so totally 80s. That's like pimp, man. That's pimp. This is my cocaine. Where's my cocaine? Why did you call it as cocaine? Watch, watch. Oh, man, that's awesome. I always wanted a cane that was like a James Bond cane, you know, with everything built into it. Mainly like a pipe and a little stash box. You could fill your pipe. Right? That'd be cool if the top of your cane was a pipe. And then it pulled out and it was a pistol too. Right? And then it could pull all the way out and it was a sword. Right? Yeah, baby. Totally, man. Sheesh. Yeah, Natalie got done with that jury duty. She's happy about that. And she's fulfilled her 1 year duty, her service. And it's unfortunate that out here most of the cases are drunk driving cases, so you're basically, that's what you're going to get. That's a bummer, because I think she'd be good on another kind of case. And whatever she said, I know that she was interested in the process. I know that because the way her brain works, that she was following stuff and paying attention. You know. So who knows? Who knows? It could lead to something, you know. It could. Yeah, baby. So yeah, of course, because of jury duty, we didn't do Minecrafting Monday, which was supposed to be Fortnite. And then I set it all up and then didn't realize, if I had realized that it was going to be her jury duty day, I probably would have just done a regular show and then postponed that, because I was busy picking her up and bringing her back and going to the store and stuff all that day, that I didn't really have time to even get set up for a show. So that by the time 5 o'clock rolled around on Monday, I was like, oh shit, it's showtime, and I got nothing. So that's all right. I was talking to her last night and told her that I'm working on that dark forest mansion, right? And I think I'm gonna do wood, dark wood, in a big, make it look like just a big scary house sitting off alongside of the road with a couple of little weird things going on and a tall staircase going up into a thing, and just make it all out of wood, right? And then on the back side of the house, because it's built on this kind of a hill thing, on the back side of the house, make it wood, but then where it goes down the back side of the hill, turn it into like dark stone or something, right, to match the wood, so that we've got this stone structure down with levels going down in, and then some subterranean stuff, and some, just a lot of weird rooms and stuff kind of going off in different directions. I don't want to make it just like a regular square house. I want to make it like the Winchester house. Just rooms that go off into nowhere. Staircases that go up and end. Doors that open up to the outside. Or into a void, you know. God void? Yeah. That'd be cool, man. So that's the plan, Stan. So I'm going to be working on that. Possibly only on Mondays, because my time is really not my own. between being the driver in the house and working on the occasional house to clean, this channel eats up a lot of my time. And it's not like I'm stuck here all the time, but I get something loaded up and then I gotta wait. And then I'm in the house doing something. And then I come over here and oh, it's uploaded, and I get to upload something else and then wait while it uploads and goes through its copyright crap. And so it's time consuming. But it doesn't eat up all of my time. It just keeps me at home a lot. If I've got to work on something, I got to be here. Last night, it probably took a few hours to upload those 8 videos, about 20 minutes each. Yep. So I've already put some stuff together for the video time machine coming up this week. I found some Spinal Tap stuff and a few other tidbits. So I'm trying to come up with some kind of time machine that has to do with what we've talked about this week, what has happened this week in the world, what has happened this week, or what has happened in the past that has some kind of ties to what's going on to today. I just try to, go into the past, but give you something that makes you think about what's happening in the world today. Or even if it's just a video of somebody who's passed away. Because why not? Remembering is good. Well, I'm kind of in a vegetative state this morning. I didn't get a nap yesterday. Well, I tried to. I laid down in the morning before I took my daughter again, and then I came back and well, it was before that. I was trying to lay down, and then my rest got interrupted. So I was kind of crabby the rest of the day and didn't get a chance to lay down again. And if I did, I don't remember. And that's a bummer. So we have an album of the day. And today's album is kind of a favorite of mine because I used to love it when his stuff would come on the radio. It was just feel-good music for me. But today's record is Neil Sedaka Sings His Greatest Hits. And Next Door to an Angel, Oh Carol, King of Clowns, Stairway to Heaven, Run, Samson Run, Calendar Girl, that's a great one. Breaking Up is Hard to Do, The Diary, Happy Birthday, Sweet 16, Little Devil, Sweet Little You, You Mean Everything to Me. Oh, Carol. Oh, Carol. Yeah, good stuff, good stuff. So a little bit of Neil Sedaka there, Never Hurt Anyone. Good stuff. He was a bank teller. He worked in a bank, and he was a piano player, and he wrote some songs, I guess, and they got published, and that was it. And then he wrote songs for some people, and they said, you know what, you gotta record your own stuff, and you gotta get out there and play, because you got a great voice, you got a great, and he did, and there you go. And there you go. There you have it. There it is. Totally, man. So I'm always watching these movies. A movie will pop up and it'll come on or it'll be on. It'll just start or something, and I'll sit and watch it. Of course, I got to write these things down because last night I watched a movie, and for the life of me, I can't remember what it was. But I enjoyed it, and I had to sit here and finish watching it. At some point, it'll pop into my head, and we'll get back to that. My dogs are getting jealous of Snoopy. when I give Snoopy kisses, my dogs look up and they come over here and they get jealous and they want kisses too. So they're like, hey, what's up with him and how come he gets the special treatment? I did that and I showed it to Oliver, and Oliver just kept looking at him and punching him and wanting to bite him, you know. And because I was kissing him, Sam was looking at me and looking at him. So when Sam would come up, he would come up and he would look at him and sniff him and lick him and give him a kiss, but he wouldn't chew on him. And Sam is the one that loves to chew on stuffed things. So we'll see, because I still got the hook and the paper and stuff attached to his ear. I'm hoping that Sam will see that it's not a chew toy, that it's a love toy, you know. So we'll see. We'll see. But those dogs, man, they're crazy. Crazy dogs. No, they are. Yeah, my apologies. I'm trying to be with it this morning, but I'm just out of it. I am just out of it. You know what I mean? I didn't get crap for sleep yesterday. I was so bummed that the night before I didn't get any sleep, and then I didn't. Good morning, WW. How you doing? Yeah, I'm just it's like every day I'm trying to wake up. And yesterday, of course, when I wake up in the morning, I'm in a great mood. I don't know why. There's no sun. I'm drinking coffee. When I wake up in the afternoon, the sun is out. There's no coffee. I don't smoke. It's the middle of the day. So when I wake up from a nap in the middle of the day, it's hell. It's literally hell. It takes me hours to get to the point to where I can even take a hit of weed and then try to get to where I want to eat something. So I have to try to nap early in the day. So when I get up at like 4, I got a couple of hours to get my shit together so I can eat dinner at 6. And last night was none different. My wife made a pot roast. We had a pot roast cooking in the oven, just bubbling in its own juices for a couple of hours. And it was just falling apart. So when I got up, she had the potatoes and the carrots done. All I had to do was make the gravy and put the pot roast pieces into the gravy and Yankee pot roast. So we had that last night, and it was delicious. Man, it was just beautiful. It was a beautiful thing. Not to be confused with like a pot roast, where it's roasted and dry, and you have to slice it up and put it on a plate and smother it in gravy or whatever. Yankee pot roast is kind of a cross between pot roast and beef stew, right? There you go. That's all it is. It's in degrees. Caffeinated weed, right? They have some infused drinks out here that are coffee marijuana drinks. So I'm thinking, wow, that's like the best of both worlds. I don't think I could deal with shit like that. The processed stuff I have a hard time dealing with. Coke, a Coca-Cola, that's about as processed as I can get when I'm drinking. That's it. If I had a mind to, I would add a little bit of booze to it. Like my wife, she's like, well, what do you do with the lemonade? And I'm like, what do you mean? She says, alcohol. What do you do with lemonade? And I'm like, well, a hard lemonade. Just add some honey jack. Add some honey jack to it. That'll make it hard lemonade. She's like, okay. Because she'll like take orange juice and add tequila or vodka, you know, and make a mixed drink or cocktail. So I've got this bar in my house here. So she's like, well, what do I do with this? And what do I do with that? You know, I'm like, well, we'll make one of these. And she's like, oh, okay. Of course, she wants me to make her some kamikazes, because we haven't had kamikazes in like forever. But that's a hard booze to drink. It's sweet and it's alcoholic, and I could only drink maybe a half a shot, you know, nowadays, barely any. But I guess if there were more people around, I would make some kamikazes, you know, and set everybody up. It's been a while since I've made commies. They're good. Good stuff. I like a screwdriver. Yeah, I used to drink a lot of screwdrivers when we were young. Back in the day, it would literally be a bottle of vodka and a gallon of OJ, right? And it's like a fifth of this and a gallon of that, and that's it. That's the party. Oh man, we did that a lot. That was the easy, cheap way to go to get a good buzz going. Was to just make a shitload of screwdrivers, or just one big, I can't remember how we did it. I think everybody had a cup, right, or cups, and we'd make screwdrivers for everybody, and then take the gallon that was left and the bottle, just pour it together and shake it up, and then everybody after that, we'd just be dipping out of that, right? I think that's how we did it. But everybody got their first, we'd make everybody their first drinks, and that would open up the jug enough to pour the rest of that fifth in there. Yeah, the good old days. Screwdrivers. And screwdrivers are great if you're doing other stuff too, right? Because if you're smoking weed or, White Russians, if you're smoking weed or doing hallucinogens, a little vitamin C is good for you. Helps that buzz along. My father was never into drinking until he found Irish cream. And at first it was Kahlua, and it was like he did Kahlua for a while until he found Irish cream, and then he was just hooked on Irish cream. A little milk and Irish cream. And he would drink those at night. He would make himself a little, and then he started doing mudslides, right? And do drinks like that, because he was never into alcohol. But then after a while, he found that he liked it in small amounts, because like me, or like him, we were both pot smokers, So there you go. Yeah, White Russians, Black Russians, whatever. Mulatto, orale. Totally, man. Mulatto, vato, Hans. I apologize about the shine. I don't get any sun. Especially up there. Totally. So, at some point this morning, we'll listen to Straight Arrow. Probably later in the morning. And we'll just put it on in the background and have it kind of play in there. Neil Sedaka is the album of the day. Yes. It is... Neil Sedaka sings his greatest hits, and it's a good one. It's got a lot of the early hits. It doesn't have some of his older stuff on there, because this one is, of course, this won't have a date on it, right? Oh, it does 62. So this is real early. He did a bunch of stuff after this, too. There was one that I used to fool around with on my guitar, and what was that one called? Oh, crap. See, I'm just racking it up this week. Totally, man. Yeah, Neil Sedaka. He's a cool dude, cool old bank teller guy that decided to just go music. Go music. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, and yes, sir, indeed. So I got nothing really going on today. This week, really. I gotta go clean a house with my wife later today. At some point, probably go out to the grocery store again. It's like I shop daily. I do a daily shopping thing because I need things every day. I'm starting to get to where I can go every 2 days, so I may not have to go to the store today, which would be great. I've got enough milk for tonight. I've got muffins and biscuits. I sound like an old English guy. Got muffins and biscuits. I've got some scones. And we made up a great bunch of pot roast and potatoes and carrots and gravy last night. So that looks like that's going to be my dinner tonight. Probably maybe lunch. Do it for lunch, and then maybe have soup for dinner. So I'm not putting a bunch of stuff on my heavy. Let's party then, baby. Party, party, party. I've got this, it reminds me of this Let's Party, it's a house party album, a Beach Boy house party album that I have. That's really cool. It looks like it's like from way back when, because it's pretty beat up. Totally. So let's party. I'm going to do a bong hit here, eh? Yeah. So, yeah, like I said, I've been putting together some elements for this week's time machine, and I found some Spinal Tap stuff, and some other great stuff. Desktop, that's what I want. Some other great elements for this week's time machine. A Spinal Tap IBM commercial, which is like, huh? Oh? And we lost, along with Mark Snow, the musical genius behind the X-Files theme. We also lost Danny Leidmacher, a German musician singer that worked with Herman Brood and Wild Romance in Germany. So I did find a little bit of his stuff too, so I'm hoping we can bring it and share that stuff as well. On this week's Video Time Machine, we're going to have Fight Back with David Horowitz from 1980. And he was a consumer advocate here in California who was the greengrocer, and then he became a consumer rights advocate until they crushed him, because now consumers don't have any rights, and we used to have the power back when David Horowitz was in charge. Let's see, what kind of grocery stores do I have out here? I've got the local stores are stuff like, my favorite is Stater Brothers. Stater Brothers is a local store that I believe got its start back east, if I'm not mistaken. But we've also got stores like Vaughn's and Aldi, which is a neighborhood market, and the grocery outlet. And then, of course, Vaughn's or Walmart Supercenter. So we try to avoid going there. We try to avoid feeding the beast. I don't have any Annette Funicello albums. I don't have one. What do you know about Annette Funicello? She's, that's Annette, right? We're talking about Mickey Mouse Club, right? Am I correct? Because that's a little before my time, but my father was into the Mickey Mouse Club, the original. And I believe Annette was one of the. She was the Mouseketeer with boobs, I believe. She was the first Mouseketeer to get boobs. But she was hand selected by Walt Disney, like a lot of those people back then. They got hand selected by Walt Disney because he was just a kook that way. I don't know too much about Annette Funicello. I know one story about her and Walt Disney. And the story was that when he hired her early on, he made a deal with her that she was to never ever show her belly button. Ever. And I don't know why. But if you look at Beach Blanket Bingo and all of those movies, she wears her bikini up high and she never shows her belly button. Right? If I'm not mistaken. I mean, shoot me if I'm wrong, but in her early stuff, she didn't. And I would assume it was out of respect to Walt Disney. Right? Walt Disney. What a weird guy. What a weird old dude. I remember working at a call center, a telemarketing call center. And the call center at that point was selling books. We were selling kids' Disney books. Aladdin, I think, was big at that time. So we were trying to push these Disney books that were like Aladdin and Little Mermaid, whatever was hot at the time. We had the stories in book form. Ingalls, Harris, Teeter, Kroger, Food Lion, Publix, Whole Foods. So we have Whole Foods and we have Kroger, but Kroger is a part of somebody else, right? So we have their parent out here. Yeah, it's cool that certain areas have certain, like the A&P, have certain markets for their area, local families that build up and take over a state, but that's all. That's pretty cool. Yeah, hear me now. Mm-hmm. Oh, what a day, what a day, what a day. What a day. Yes, you're right, I got lost. I don't know what I was talking about. That's okay. That's okay. It'll come back to me. If it doesn't, it's okay. Somebody will remind me. It's okay. Alright. I'm starting to run out of Betty Boop. I'm starting to run out of Betty Boop for the video time machine. I can only use it up to a certain year, and then it's copywritten. Before a certain year, I can use it as long as I don't monetize my channel. Then I'm good. Out here, we also have Vaughn's and Alpha Beta and Ralph's and Albertsons. Those are some other supermarkets out here like that. But in our area, we've only got Stater Brothers and Vaughn's and Aldi and Grocery Outlet. But in Southern California, you can find all kinds of different supermarkets out here. Like Trader Joe's is one for the yuppies, right? Weird stuff. Some people shop at Target. Some people shop at Dollar General or DG. When there's a million of them out here. I try to stick to Stater Brothers because I've been shopping at Stater Brothers since I was a little kid. Since I first, could shoplift something, it was at Stater Brothers. So I owe them. No. It's just the store that I remember. The prices are not as expensive as Vaughn's, but a little bit more than Albert's. I mean, a little bit more than Walmart, right? And then there's those little grocery outlet type stores like Aldi, the neighborhood market. Hey, you better have a shower there, buddy. Been putting it off for a week, huh? Sheesh. Well, you've been putting it out for a week. Well, you have fun with that, and be sure to use lots of hot water and soap. Yeah, buddy. Yeah. But local supermarkets. It's always been my go-to store, Stater Brothers. It's just like an old friend. Just about every store is set up the same. Yeah, so we got all of those too: Trader Joe's, Target, Sam's, Costco, all that crap. I gotta heat up my coffee. I heated it up and then neglected it, so I'll be right back. Pose me a question. That's it. Statler Brothers, right? Statler Brothers, Stater Brothers. Yep, it's just basically one letter away. That's it. Just add an L in there after state. Or, yeah, after stat. That's it. Staters, Statlers. Totally. Ah. Okay. I'm still trying to remember that movie I watched last night. I hate watching a movie so close to bed because I just forget it. I'll just fucking forget it, man. So let's see, it's Old Time Radio Wednesday. I've got a radio show to listen to today. I found it and put a video together so we could listen to it on the channel. It's called Straight Arrow. It is about in the 1930s. We got this radio show that popped up, and it's this guy who finds this Comanche garb and uses it to change his identity. Steve Adams becomes Straight Arrow, basically. He puts on this garb and he becomes this Native American warrior guy who goes out and rights wrongs like the Lone Ranger. And basically it's a white guy that has usurped a Native American culture for his own agenda. But it's, you know, it's hilarious. So we'll pop it on in a little bit and put it in the background and have it play. And then, of course, at some point I'll pop it onto my channel because I don't even think I've put this video on my channel yet. I've been too preoccupied trying to program all of August, July and August. So I'm trying to get to where I've got at least a month of nothing to do during August. I'm not exactly sure if I'm doing this reunion thing or not. It's planned, it's set up. I'll more than likely, if there's nothing going on that weekend, I'll drive down in my van and hang out and camp for a few days. But I'm not going to be like the master plan behind everything because I've gotten no help from but a couple of people, and even their help is restricted. So Paul Harvey, character counts. I love Paul Harvey. I would listen to Paul Harvey anytime he came on the radio. He did a thing out here on KFI 640, 546. It was one of these AM radio stations, and he would come on and he would do a minute of character counts, and he would talk about somebody and give a little story, and that was always great. Good old Paul Harvey. Didn't he do a short thing on TV at some point? Well, I appreciate that. That's a hell of a compliment. Talking, even just mentioning Paul Harvey in the same room as me is a compliment. That's awesome. Because character does count. You know. I don't know if it was him that said it, but one of the things that makes me think of Paul Harvey is that anytime you're making some kind of important decision in your life, or you're at a crossroads where you have to make a decision, good or bad or something, right? That you always make that decision with the idea that your family and your loved ones are watching you make this decision and hoping that you're going to make the right decision, right? So I always try to use that when I'm doing something important. What would your family want you to do? What would your wife and daughter want you to do, right? So, yeah, thank you, Paul Harvey, for giving me that, because I didn't get that from my parents. It wasn't my parents that I was trying to impress. So I didn't try to impress anyone until I actually got married and had a wife and then a child. And then it was like, okay, now I have to step it up, right? Yeah. Kinda crazy, man. Kinda crazy, man. Alright, I got another bong hit here. And then at some point, yeah, just out to get some more weed. Have to get some more weed. Yeah, it's about a half an ounce a week. That's a lot of weed to smoke. But I'm okay with it. You know. The pain isn't. The pain doesn't really. The pain, I just get disconnected from the pain smoking weed. It's like, you know, the pain's over there and I'm over here and I can deal with that. When I don't have the weed, then me and the pain are sitting in the same chair and it sucks. Yeah, family radio. That's what I love about old time radio. You know, is that not only is it stuff that is not as crazy as today, but it's something you can sit around and listen to the whole show with your family. You know. Yeah, there were a couple of shows that I would like to listen to on, I just looked up and saw because of the heat on the ceiling, on the roof of my mobile home now, things that are stuck up with tape are starting to get a little droopy, right? Doesn't that suck? Things are going to start dropping. J.C. Dobson. J.C. Dobson. Yeah, baby. So I got my little schedule here, and this is what I write information on, and then what I've put on the video time machine, and then this one here is my morning agenda, which shows every day of the week and what we're doing as far as records and what we're talking about. And then down at the bottom I can write in little notes. James C. Dobson. Most of the stuff I've written here is from William and James here. I know Joey's there, but he likes to stay kind of quiet because he's coming down from work, man. You gotta mellow out, man. I hear you. I just wanted to let you know I feel your pain. Yeah, I don't go in too much for like buttercream wholesome, like too sweet. I used to listen to, when I listened to a lot of radio, I listened to that, that guy. The guy who did that show with a bunch of cast, and it'll come to me eventually. I know I have my own radio show program. It's just got pictures, right? I do have a radio program. It's called Nighttime Nonsense and Nostalgia. And I did a couple of seasons of that. And it just got really difficult to put on that many live shows a week. So I had to back off from the Nighttime Nonsense and Nostalgia. But because I did so much of it with a basic song, music base, I pretty much did all I could do by that point, by the time I stopped. I had done it 5 days a week for a little while, in the morning and then at night. Prairie Home Companion, that's it. That's the one, thank you. Yes, you are correct, WW. I used to listen to that a lot. And it was on the radio. It would come on the radio like once a week or something. And I was listening to a lot of old-time radio in the evenings. Garrison Keillor, yeah. And what a weird dude. What a weird show. Mom back, beep, beep. Yeah, it was just lots of weird stuff. And I would try to record some of it off the radio, and I had a few tapes. But I was homeless with a girlfriend who had a kid, and it was a weird thing. But at that period in my life, it was another period in my life where I was listening to the radio because I didn't have a TV or access to a TV or could use a TV. Yeah, good stuff. I've never watched the movie, but you know, after stuff doesn't really impress me much. It usually doesn't. I have been thinking about watching this Rocky documentary that is about the Rocky, where he goes up against the Russian dude, right? And they made a documentary out of it and used all the footage and extra footage that they did. And I'm reading this going, this sounds like it might be interesting, right? Because Dolph Lundgren, he's not a Russian dude. He's just a regular average American dude. And he's a fucking genius. I mean, he's all the time that he was studying acting, it was, he was going to school. He was always going to school. He's got like master's degrees and all kinds of crap. The movie about PHC. What the hell's PHC? I don't know what PHC is. Is that some kind of drug? Because of the Philharmonic? Shut up. Yeah, what's PHC? Please, help me out. Hook me up. I am familiar with Robert Altman. I do not know what his last movie is. So, what does it mean? 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 Jelly bean. Hear me now. Think about it later. All right, at 6 o'clock, I'm gonna pop on PHC. Oh, Prairie Home Companion. See, there you go, Robert Altman. Yeah, that I did not know. Of course, I should have, but I can't see all of my comments there, or I might have gone up and seen Prairie Home Companion and put the things together, but I did not. Man, it's getting cold in here again. Because it does that. It gets cold really quick. I am going to go over here, and I'm going to put on this radio show, and we'll listen to it in the background, because I promised, and I don't want to break my promise, man. Because I don't. And what did I do with it? Did I even set it up? I don't think I set it up. No. Did I? Let's see. Did I put it in old-time radio stuff? Huh. Let's see. I don't see straight arrow around here anywhere. I must have left it on this computer. It's not in this file. So there you go. I did a boo-boo. Nobody wanted to listen to that anyway. I'll have to check it out. I'll have to look at the Prairie Home Companion, the PHC there. I've always wanted to do a radio show, like a radio play. Hey, good morning, Susie. How you doing? Just hanging out here with Joe and WW. Me and Joey chilling out. Yeah, I've always wanted to write and produce and star in a radio play. A half-hour drama, action, sci-fi type thing with lots of sound effects and music and stuff. Sweetie Petey. That's what I call my little white dog, Oliver. I used to have a dog named Pete because he looked like Pete from the Little Rascals with a big patch over his eye. And he just went missing one day. Yep. Anyway, there you go. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to heat up my coffee again. Because I got to. Yeah. Straight arrow. Totally, man. Yeah, so like last night I totally got to sleep early. Like by 10 o'clock I was in bed. And when you get up at 4, it doesn't seem like it's early. The Green Lantern. Ooh. The Green Lantern. Yeah, I used to dig the Green Lantern. I didn't know much about it, but I had a couple of comics, right? It was hard to keep stuff when I was a kid. We were transient, we were homeless, we lived in vehicles and stuff, so it was really hard to have any personal possessions. They just wouldn't last. Oh, I love the Shadow. Lamont Cranston is the Shadow, Did you know the Green Hornet? Britt Reed, the Green Hornet, was great nephew or something of Dan Reed, the Lone Ranger. Did you know that? The Shadow, yeah. I liked that movie with Alec Baldwin. Yeah, Alec Guinness as the Shadow. You don't see me. I'm not here. Yeah, baby. I've got just a shitload of old-time radio on LP. I've got a bunch on 8-track, on cassette, on CD. But what I listen to are digital files that I dig up. I dig up digital files, and then I take those, and then I can put some video to it and give you the Green Hornet. Totally Green Hornet. That was one of the shows that I was like really into. And I'll probably be doing the Green Hornet next. Because right now we're doing the Shadow. So Monday through Friday we're doing Shadow, Dragnet. The one we listened to this morning, Sam Spade, The Adventures of Sam Spade. And then the Great Gildersleeve on Thursday. And then Friday we wrap the week up with Nightbeat. And then on Wednesdays we have 2 extra shows a day. So and they alternate every 4 weeks. It goes back and starts over again. But we do Suspense, Inner Sanctum, The Lone Ranger, Texas Rangers, just a whole bunch of different weird shows, so that we can listen to other stuff. But I think I'm gonna take the Green Hornet and bring that one in because it's one of my favorites. And but we do listen to the Lone Ranger. And let's see some of the other shows. I've actually got a book. I keep this is my show. This is my channel. This is all of the stuff on my channel. I keep track of it so that I don't repeat stuff. But this is my book, and it's all printed out with little. You can see the little colored tabs and stuff to let me know what shows I've got, what shows I've uploaded. What shows are not available that are just lost. I've got Escape 5 days a week, at 8 a.m. And then at noon, on Mondays, Shadow, then Dragnet, and then Sam Spade, Gildersleeve, and then Night Beat. And then once a month, we do 2 shows, and then we do a different 2 shows, and then a different, and then it revolves, goes right back around. So we do Philip Marlowe, Lights Out, and then Texas Rangers and the Lone Ranger, and then Suspense and Inner Sanctum, and then The Whistler, and yours truly, Johnny Dollar, which is one of my favorites. So Wednesdays is Old Time Radio Wednesday, because there's just a shitload of old time radio stuff. And I try to have something to listen to, but yeah, I dig noir stuff where there's this guy, you know, giving us the skinny through the whole thing, you know, and that's like Johnny Dollar. That's a good Night Beat is a good noir. I love Frank Lovejoy. He's got a great voice. He's done a couple of things on the radio, but for me, it's Night Beat was the great one. The great one. Great man. Yeah, great. Looks like it's time to dig out some more weed. Shoehorn some more weed into my lungs. Ooh, that's a big chunk there. We'll save that one for later. And then, yeah. You too, huh? All right. Well, all right. Get on out of here and go take a shower. Ranger Bill. Ranger is some great noise there. Yeah, Ranger Bill. I don't recall Ranger Bill. There was a lot of shows. There was like, you look back at television, and like we're looking at the TV guide, and you find these shows, and it's like, what the hell show was that? And these little obscure shows that popped up, and they might have run multiple seasons, but then they just fell away, and the tapes got lost, and then all of a sudden nobody knows about it except for a select few that actually remember. And to find people who remember, that's a tough thing, right? Because humans are designed to forget and move on, right? That's just the way the brain is, and only to remember stuff that you have an emotional connection to. So it can be, you know, it can be weird when you're trying to talk about stuff and you're talking to someone, you're like, dude, we used to sit and watch this show together, and they're like, I don't remember that. And yeah, it just freaks me out. Naughty Pine. Huh. Ranger Bill. That sounds heavy. My father collected a lot of those old time radio shows, like The Guiding Light was a radio show before it went to television. Ma Perkins. What are some of those other ones? Really family shows, you know, where they just get into. Let me grab a couple here, and we'll take a look at it. Okay, so here is a stack of records, LPs, if you will. And let me go ahead and pop up my thing there so we can see. All right, here's one called Jungle Jim. All right, and this is one of those obscure shows. 4 Exciting Adventures of Jungle Jim. So they're 15-minute episodes, right? And then, of course, Gene Autry's Melody Ranch, right? And my father collected these from a little store that you may have heard of, right? Tower Records. And he would go by Sunset Tower Records and pick these up. Our Gal Sunday. It's a soap opera. Gosh. Here's one of my favorites. Sherlock Holmes. Those were great shows. And then one of his favorite shows was Fibber, McGee, and Molly. So this is an original radio broadcast series, The Golden Age of Radio, and he was trying to collect many of these, as many as he could, in the collection. Sergeant Preston of the Yukon, that's one of my favorites because he had his dog Spot. Tarzan. There's another one. Yeah, baby. Here's The Guiding Light, soap opera. Faith and Inspiration. So it turned into a kind of a hokey, half-assed version of itself on TV, because The Guiding Light was one of those wholesome Christian shows that was trying to instill morals and values upon Americans, and it turned into the crap that it became. Bing Crosby I was never a fan of. My father, yes. Amos and Andy. So we've got those two white guys pretending to be black guys on the radio. Here's Vic and Sade. So one of those really weird family shows. And here you go. Here's another one. Stella Dallas. Stella Dallas. Soap opera. The true-to-life story of mother love and sacrifice. And another, Gene Autry, Melody Ranch. This one. So it appears that I have two. And here we go. This is The Right to Happiness. We are all born with the right to happiness. So this is one of those soap opera dealies there. Right? Jack Armstrong, the All-American Boy. That was kind of a really cheesy, gee guys, I want to be a good guy, but I don't know how. Everybody teach me what to do. It was kind of weird. America's Favorite Widow, Ma Perkins, right? Hokey soap operas. And one of my favorites, and last but not least, was Groucho Marx, You Bet Your Life. And that was a pretty cool game show that made it to television, of course. Like most of those shows, they didn't know what to do when television first came about, so they just adapted a lot of old radio shows, pre-existing stuff, to the television. And sometimes it paid off, like Gunsmoke. It was the longest running TV drama forever, because, well, until, like most recently when all these other shows have been on, Law and Order and all these CSI crappy shows have been on forever. But for the longest time, it was the longest running drama on television, Gunsmoke. And it came from the radio, and it was the longest running radio program forever. It was still going on the radio when it was on black and white on TV. Pardon me, I'm just waking up here. I don't get to take a shower right now, guys. Yeah, I'd love to make a radio show, I would love it. It would just be a lot of fun. So if you're tuning in and expecting to hear a radio show, I didn't put it on my thing. I didn't move it over. I was doing a memory shuffle, and one of the things I forgot to move. Well, usually I write a post-it and do a checklist, but I didn't. F and M with my grandpa. Fibber McGee and Molly. Yeah. That closet. I'm glad I figured out those initials there, because I'm really bad with initials and anagrams and that kind of stuff. Yeah, I dig that show, and the fact that Gildersleeve came from that show. We can't listen to many of those shows on my channel because the music, most of these radio shows don't have any copyright issues at all. But when we start adding somebody singing to the show, which happens quite frequently in a lot of those shows, the comedy shows as well, like Duffy's Tavern, there's always somebody singing. Jack Benny, sing for us, Bill. Dennis Day, sing for us, Dennis. So I have to, pick my shows. I like the anthology shows like Escape and Suspense and Inner Sanctum and X-1 because it's always a different story and there's rarely any copyright music. But Fibber McGee and Molly or the spin-off Gildersleeve, I'll take Gildersleeve. It's just for me, it's a funnier show. It's got more, it's got a better interaction because it's a middle-aged guy and his young adult niece and his younger little boy nephew, Moody Bible Institute. That does sound familiar. There you go. There you go. Alright, it's time for me to start thinking about getting loaded. Because this is the time of day that I get loaded. The rest of the day, I don't really get loaded. Golly gee whiz, mister. Yeah, I got to come up with some kind of idea for a radio show and then write a rough synopsis, a rough scenario, if you will, if you want to get Robert Culp. Then after that, write up an actual screenplay or radio play rather, and then I've got to find all the music, copyright free music, which is easy, but I've also got to find sound effects that are going to work through the whole thing, right? And then what I would probably do would be to just create every voice doing each line and just edit everything together so that I could do a voice and then have the voices interrupting and talking over each other by overlapping a little bit. Pick music that I can bring up in the background, all the sound effects, old sound effects, new sound effects, create some sound effects that I can't find. But I've got to come up with a plot, an idea, a story, something that's going to be fun and interesting and easy to write. Something that's me, right? Something that's... so I don't know. I've always wanted to, but I've never really put much thought into what it would be. And if I was going to take, like, the month of August and not do anything on the channel but the morning show and the Minecrafting show, then it would free me up during the day and in the evenings and in the weekends to actually record stuff, write stuff, produce stuff, try to get something done, right? Yeah, so I'm going to have to sit and think about that and what would it do? Would I want to adapt something or would I want to do something original? Probably something original. Yeah, something... It would probably be science fiction because I kind of enjoy the 1950s science fiction, the drive-in stuff and the radio stuff and, TV. So science fiction would be great. It would have to be retro because it's an old-time radio show. It would have to be some kind of retro rockets. It would have to be akin to the past. It would have to be of the 1955 science fiction futuristic view thing. We're in the 1950s and we're going to look to see what 1999 looks like, right? And create a whole new 1999. Do something like that. Create a whole world of the future from the past point of view. That's the only way it's going to work. Because there is no old-time radio today. I would have to use the schematic of the past in order to put that together. And I've listened to thousands of old-time radio shows and hundreds of hours of science fiction, thousands of hours. I've heard shows over and over and over and over and over and over again, so they're pretty much melted into my brain. And then I would have to come up with a way to alter my voice slightly so that I could then do various parts, right? I would probably get someone on occasion to read some lines for me to get others involved. But for the most part, it would just be easier just to do it myself and do most of the voices myself, right? With the teeth in, with the teeth out, you know, different, and then the different ways I can change my voice just by, you know, just by doing my thing. So, but what kind of radio show would I do? So I could do something about a man in space alone, right? So that we've got pretty much one main character. We can have the people that he contacts on Earth, one or two people, right? The radio guy, and then the doctor, right? And then maybe a commander, right? So we've got three people that he can talk to on the radio. And then we can do a flashback where he remembers leaving and going into space and having to say goodbye to his wife or girlfriend or whatever. And then we can have something happening in space that is the adventure. And what would that be? And would there be somebody with him? Probably not. I think it would be best if it was a lone person in a capsule doing something in space that nobody had done before, making the first flight out to orbit the moon, and it goes wonky, right? And then maybe instead of just orbiting the moon, he crashes on the moon. And then comes to realize that the moon is actually inhabited. And it is inhabited by scientists from Earth who have been going to the moon for the last 2 decades, let's say. And let's say that the year is, let's say we'll start in 1955, and that'll be our starting point to write. And we'll look forward to like 1970 and say from 1970 is when we are just going out to orbit the moon, right? It didn't happen until 69, so we'll say 70 because that's our futuristic look forward, right? So in 1970, the first manned orbit of the moon, and he's just supposed to orbit the moon a couple of times and then fire his retros and then come back and then land in the ocean, right? But instead, something happens and he fires or misfires and winds up crash landing on the moon, and he comes in at a low, slow deal and lands and skids and winds up surviving. But at the same time, he winds up meeting the actual inhabitants of the moon, scientists that have been going out there for, a couple of decades. So from about, the period that we're writing from, so post World War II, after the Korean War, about the time of the end of the Korean War, they would have been launching guys into space. Scientists, not the government, but scientists in their own private organization. And they eventually convinced this guy through showing him what's going on the moon and allowing him to take a look at what's going on the planet Earth. He decides that, yes, he has to fake his own death and stay on the moon. Right? And maybe we can have at one point a flashback where he talks, where he says goodbye to his wife, and then maybe at some point after the accident, they take him back to the capsule, allow him to use the radio and contact Earth and say goodbye. He's crash landed, and it's horrible. Don't come, or something to that effect. And I want to say goodbye to my wife, and oxygen is running out, and I'm going to die, and yada, yada, yada. And don't try to rescue me because it's pointless, and yada, and blah, blah, blah. So we could do something like that. So I'll have to start mulling that around and put together a file, put together a Word program where I can create notes. And then once I have enough whirling around in my head, I can start to put together some kind of synopsis. Some kind of, yeah. Creating sound effects is one thing, but I really enjoy seeking out things that I need, because I wind up finding much more than I thought that I would. So that should be fun. Just the space sound effects alone. And I can't use everything, which is always a bummer. But I always find like 100 things. Out of every one thing that I can use, I've got 100 things that are, possible. So music. I've got to find a right set of music. A theme, an opening, an ending, and then music in the middle that kind of fits that opening and that ending, right? Apollo 7. Totally. Yeah, Friday, let's talk about some more Apollo stuff. Because Apollo, man. Totally, Hans. Apollo. Orale. So we'll give it a fictional name to the mission. We'll name his ship, give it a fictional name. We've got to create his name. We've got to create the space program because it's pre-NASA. So we're gonna create something in the 1950s and then have it take place in the 1970s. Right? About 15, 20 years later. So out comes another clipboard, and out comes another ream of paper where I write down notes and post-its, and then write down lists of things that I need, things that I have. But yeah, I think we can pull that off. I think we can pull that off, baby. Ooh, look, a bong hit. All right. All right. Let's take a look at this TV guide. I love the fact that the TV guide for 1980 lines up with this week. Wednesday, July 9th. That's today. And this is 1980. And this is like 25 years ago. I'm sorry. 45 years ago. Wow. There you go. If I'm lucky, I'll be able to find Hollywood squares. because I love to see the cross-section of celebrities on the Hollywood squares. So far, I am not seeing it. Okay, 6 o'clock, prime time. What's happening? Carol Burnett and Friends, Odd Couple, Sanford and Son, a whole lot of news. But no. But no Hollywood squares. Hey, there it is. All right. Artie Johnson, Catherine Demone, Vincent Price, Dottie West, Kenny Rogers and Dottie West, Waylon and Madam. Oh, Scott Baio. Wow, he's young. And George Gobel and Jane Kennedy and Robert Urich. Whoa. All right, prime time, 8 o'clock, Wednesday, July 9th, 1980. 8 is enough. Everybody's preparing for Susan's baby shower except Tommy, who's busy deciding whether to drop his girlfriend for someone more experienced. Oh, right. Tommy wants to get down, and his girlfriend don't. Michelle Green. Right? Oh, Real People. I love that show. Highlights include report on a hot air balloon race, a woman who won't go anywhere without her casket, ugh, a bar that specializes in margaritas, a duck race, and a husband and wife jockey team. Also, consumer advocate Herb Dannenberg. Ah, there you go. Advice on selecting a lawyer. Whew. Yeah, right. Go with a gun. You gonna do me right, or I'm gonna do you right. Lord Peter Wimsey, a 4-part adaptation of Dorothy L. Sawyer's The Unpleasantness at the Bellona Club. Well, movie adventure, The Ultimate Imposter, and Joseph Hacker. Aaron Gray is in it, but nothing really else there. There's nothing much. We'll move along. Nothing to see here. Charlie's Angels, Chuck's Chicks. There you go. We were just talking about Chuck's Chicks the other day. My wife's got these great sunglasses, and my daughter put them on the other day, and I'm like, the green-haired Charlie's Angel. There you go. Been in the pool too long? Right? Remember? All them bleached-out girls that jump in the pool and their hair turn green. I remember those days. Let's see, at 9, we got Charlie's Angels, of course. Cheryl Ladd. Different Strokes. Tonight at Carnegie Hall. At 10, and then at 9:30, Facts of Life. Not much else on. At 10, Vegas with Robert Urich. That's, of course, why he's on the Hollywood Squares, because he's got something going on prime time. Also at 10, Quincy. Good old Quincy. Prime of Miss Jean Brodie, drama. CBS reports examining the dramatic increase in lawsuits. Yeah, I remember that. Everybody was fucking suing everybody. You could see it all over the TV shows. I'm going to sue you. I'm going to sue you. Yeah, it became one of those joking points. And let's see, at 11, Morning Becomes Electra. Ooh, Bruce Davidson. Roberta Maxwell. And Joan Hackett. And then, of course, late night stuff begins. Twilight Zone, Dick Cavett, Joker's Wild, Joker. The Tonight Show with John Davison, Charles Nelson Riley, Dorothy Fudelheim, a journalist, and so on and so forth. Love Boat on The Saint. Beretta is on at 1. Tomorrow with Tom Snyder, Schuffs, Alfredo Viazzi, and Jacques Pippin. They're gonna feed him, and then at 1:10 in the morning, Black Sheep Squadron. Yay! By saving the First Lady's life, the black sheep are thrust into head-swelling limelight. And at 1:30, before sign-off, you can watch an Italian movie, Blood, Sweat, and Fear, with Lee J. Cobb. And then we go into tomorrow morning. So we're going to pick it up there. Tomorrow. Tomorrow. I love you. Tomorrow. Shut up. Nope. No siree, Baba-rooney. So what are we doing today? Nothing. Which means my wife might actually sleep in this morning. And I'm just going to kind of hang here until I hear the house waking up. And then we'll call the show quits. Because I don't have much to do today. I'll probably just hang out with my wife and do nothing all day with her. My daughter, of course, is going to sleep all day because she was up late doing whatever. Probably playing video games. Which is awesome. Because she really needs to take this time over the summer to detox from all that school stuff. And hopefully tonight she'll be up for going for a drive. And we can take a drive into town and cruise around. And just get her out on the road and getting used to being in the car moving. That's it. That's all. Sounds like a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm real happy, Susie, with the idea that we've come up with for the radio show. So I think the first thing is going to be come up with some sound effects. Come up with a good sound effects base. Come up with a good story. Write everything down. Yeah. But I think we're off on a good start. Voice alteration. I know there's apps and that kind of stuff. For my money, I just take a big plastic water bottle, cut an end off of it, and talk through that. I can talk through that and use that, or flip it around and talk into the other end of it, so you get like a hollow room sound. So there's a lot of different things you can do to change your voice. And I'll just kind of wing it. Like recording it on a different device, a linear device, and then taking that linear audio and recording it digitally analog, and then it's got a different sound to it rather than going straight digital and having a perfect clear, crystal clear sound. Take it and actually go outside and record audio outside through an old tape player, and then bring that, or take it into a different room and record it so you get a different sound, a different feel. So that'd be cool. So I'm just going to have to kind of, and because I'm only going to be using a couple of different methods of speaking, right, voice types, right, I'll need a radio voice, I'll need a voice that comes through on the radio, whether it's male or female, or 3 different voices or 4 different voices coming through on the radio. I've got to have a radio sound. I've got to have a spaceship sound from inside the capsule. I've got to have a sound within inside of a helmet, and then a normal sound within inside of laboratories and rooms inside of a space station on the moon, something like that. So I've got to have that voice. I've got to have music, something that's thematic, and I got to have sound effects, and they have to be space stuff, space related. I don't have to worry about blasting off. We're going to be already off Earth when the show starts. Even the flashback is just going to be like, it'll be like in a park. Yeah, I've got to go away, baby. I'm going to miss you. Oh, don't go. Please don't go. And something like that. So it'll be the sounds of a park with, kids in the background playing and, a cop chasing a mugger or whatever. The sound of birds and kids playing and whatever. Fun sounds, happy sounds. And then back into the space capsule, that's kind of hollow and metallic sounding. Yeah, it's starting to come together. So if I can spend some time working on it, and I've needed to do some writing, so that'll be nice. We got about 15 minutes left. Let me go over what's happening later in the week. The rest of the week, two last days. Oh no, we don't have to wake up Mom. Nope, she's not leaving today. Okay, tomorrow we're gonna plug in the guitar and fiddle around with that, listen to some Grateful Dead, and look at some 8-track tapes. I've got a case of comedy tapes from the 70s and 80s, so we're gonna look at those. And then Friday we're gonna talk more about Apollo mission stuff and look at all the stuff that I have, and maybe look at the encyclopedias and magazines that I have of the era, and see what they have to say. So there you go. So it's a pretty basic week, trying to get caught up. So that'll be fun. I got a bong hit here. I can get ready. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. So, an old-time radio show designed to have been written in the 1950s about the future from 1955. Because that's like the year that I was, that my favorite shows, were like 50, 52, 53, something like that, was Dimension X, and then 55, X-1, and that was on for a few years. And that's pretty much what I want to do, And I might even I can't do it as an X-1, but it sure would be neat to do it as an X-1 lost episode or something. I don't know. I guess I'll figure out that once I've got the radio show done. I could figure out then what I'm going to call it and how I'm going to begin it and end it, Because I want it to feel like an old radio show. So at some point I might even age it, run it through some filters so it sounds like it's, or in the background, give you the static and the crunchy and the skippiness of a record. I should be able to do that. So, yeah. I want it to feel like you're listening to an old radio show. Which means the voices are going to have to be on. I'm going to have to figure out how to get those voices and do the voices so it doesn't sound like one guy doing it. And then get a couple of people to help out voice-wise. I don't even know characters. I know there's going to have to be at least one female. And then maybe another female at the moon base, right? So I don't know. There's also the possibility of just using a speech program. So you type it in and then you hit a button in it and it reads it to you as a female voice or a male voice or whatever. And so something like that might help me. Or if I can just take my voice and tweak it up and down, left and right, pitch, whatever, pitch, roll, yaw, and just totally twist up my voice so I can turn it into whatever I want to turn it into. Sound like an old British woman. My word, I say. And then just give it a little bit of, so that it doesn't sound like me doing it. That would be cool. So any suggestions I'm open to. Thank you, suggesting that I do the bong hit. I appreciate it. There you go. Right there. Okay. That's the movie that I watched yesterday. I'm glad I finally figured it out. It only took me, an hour and a half to figure out the movie that I watched last night before I went to sleep. It was RoboCop. 2014 RoboCop. Samuel L. Jackson. As soon as it started, it had Samuel L. Jackson, and I'm like, oh, God, really? And yes, at one point in the movie, he looked into the camera and said, motherfucker. Of course, he was supposed to have been on TV when he said it, so it got bleeped out. But still, I was like, yep, he can't go through any movie without saying that. So, but it also had Michael Keaton, right? And Gary Oldman. And then, I don't remember the guy who played RoboCop. Had a bunch of secondary actors. It seemed like the RoboCop actor was a secondary guy because I don't remember him. They just got a real skinny guy, a real skinny actor who probably even starved himself so that he can fit into that outfit. But I watched it because it had Jackie Earle Haley in it. And I had seen a little snippet of that movie. And I'm like, wow, I didn't know that he was in RoboCop, the remake, right? So I decided I was going to watch it. It was on, it popped up, and so I started watching it. And Jackie Earle Haley did not disappoint. It was great. If you remember him, you first saw him in movies like The Bad News Bears, all three of them. Yeah. And, oh crap, what is it? The movie about the bicycle race. Oh, man, I am just not with it today. Had Dennis Quaid in it, Daniel Stern, Jackie Earle Haley, and it was Breaking Away. Cutters. There you go. God, I'm glad I remembered that. That was a great movie. That's one of my favorite movies. So I watched this RoboCop remake, 2014 remake, and it was okay. The storyline it wasn't a complete remake. The storyline was really different. While they did involve the media, because Paul Verhoeven, the director of the original one, I believe, he was really into using the media as a part of storytelling. This is what the media says. This is how the media looks. This is what the media shows us, right? So you see that in a lot of his movies, that he's constantly throwing TV at you. One of the most interesting uses of that is Starship Troopers, where he really uses the media to help tell the story. Or, let's see, Get Your Ass to Mars. Get Your Ass to Mars. Total Recall, right? Same thing. Uses the media always pops in to tell you what's going on. Yeah, I think that's great. That's great storytelling when you can involve something that you're so totally familiar with and make you see it in a different light, you know? Like the movie Runaway. Tom Selleck, Gene Simmons, Kirstie Alley. That was a great use of the media to help tell the story. I thought that was pretty cool. So we're just kind of waning down. We'll be in the last hour of the show here, and it'll end when it ends. Because I'm just hanging out. I'm just chilling. I don't know who's still here, but I am. And I'm going to be here until I'm gone. And then when I'm gone, I'll be back. If I'm back. Right? So this is my my Lucas Nelson and the Promise of the Real t-shirt that I got when I saw him at the observatory in Los Angeles in Santa Ana. And it was a great show. It was the second time that I had seen him. The first time I saw him was just right down the road here in Pioneer Town. And that was cool. So let's see. I think I'm probably due for another bong hit here, because as soon as my eyes get really squinty, then I know that I'm there, right? And then I know that I'm ready for breakfast. So next Monday we're going to watch part 2 of JT, unless somebody watches the whole thing on my channel and tells me, dude, don't watch it, it gets sad. It gets really sad. Because if it does get sad, I'll probably let it play but not watch it when we watch it on Monday. Because I'll just walk away from it. Because I mean, some stuff, if it's too sad, kids and animals, like I said, you know, I can watch war movies. Adults bring that shit on themselves. But when it involves kids and dogs and animals and cats and stuff, then I get a little perturbed. So even in movie form, I don't need to take that kind of stuff with me. You know, life is rough enough. Life throws enough crap at you. You don't need to add to it with pretend crap, right? Maybe a documentary, as long as it's not too violent. You know, but like I said, when it comes to humans, I'm just okay with, because adult humans bring that shit on themselves. But when it comes to little kids and pets, animals, any kind of animal, I don't want to see that stuff. You know, I don't want to see that stuff. A man called, what the hell was his name? James Garner, Claude Akins, Dennis Weaver. I just can't remember. A man called something. Slade? Was that it? No. Sledge. A man called Sledge. That was it. I'm pretty sure that was it. James Garner was Sledge. My wife said, "Seen it? We've seen it." I said, "No, the whole reason I'm watching this is because I'd never seen it before. I saw the preview, but I'd never seen the movie." And then we got to the end, and we're watching the end, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe you did see this, and I came along at the end because I remember seeing this whole end part with the old guy and the gold and the killing and all that shit. So I don't know, but it was good. Yeah, it was good. Lately, the TV show that we've been watching is from the 2000s. And it's that Miss Fisher Mysteries from Australia. It's got like 2 or 3 seasons. And it's just got a great cast and a great story base, because it came from a book series, right? So they're just adapting from a book. But the greatest part is that where they film on location, the shots, I just imagine somebody going out with a camera and taking shots of specific buildings and streets and long shots with stuff like lighthouses in the background and things, so that you can set up a shot that looks like it's in the 1920s or 30s, right? And just scouting locations for that would have been a dream, to just go around Australia and find places that looked like the past, right? Wow. Because I've often thought about taking my own past and turning it into a show, a TV show, a TV series. You know, a cross between that 70s show and Stranger Things, basically. So you get the fun and the partying stuff, but you also get a lot of reality with the you know, there was a lot of death and violence and misery and stuff accompanied by all that fun. So there was always something crazy going on. So I'd love to get that and take those stories and rework them into fictional stuff so that we could kind of see. And then it would be, when you're watching it, you would have to decide where fiction ends and nonfiction begins, because that's the thing. Sometimes you're in the middle of it and you're thinking, my God, this is not real, right? This couldn't possibly be happening right now. And it is. So there's a lot of those stories from my past. And I know a lot of people that have other crazy stories, and I'd love to tap into those too. But I've often thought about doing that, and then how do you do it on location? Do you do it on location in your hometown, on the same streets? Not really, because those streets have changed. You would have to literally go to a town and find a town that would fit the bill, right? It would have to be a lake town, but it couldn't be a mountain lake town, because that has a different feel, and it has a different tone. It's got different buildings. It's a snow community, mountain community. It's cabins, and so that wouldn't work. It would have to be Central California, around a lake, something like that, where the community's been there for a long time and it hasn't really ever grown or aged, right? Or find a small town that is just kind of frozen in time and use that, and then find a nearby lake to use for lake shots, because the lake was the center part of our town. Everybody lived around the lake, but it was a big lake, you know, and to find something to double for that would be really difficult. But then again, I don't know. As long as you can get it in a few good areas to resemble somewhat our hometown, right? Because we wouldn't want it to be an exact replica, because then people are coming along saying, give me money because you told my story, you know. Even the town name, I would probably keep, you know, the town name, just call it Elsinore. Call it Elsinore and make it a fictional Elsinore, but tell a lot of the same stories anew, askew, you know, anew and askew. Do it, man. Well, it's after 7 a.m. here on the 9th of July, 2025, here on the Pacific West Coast. We're jamming. We're rocking. We're getting ready for another hot day up in the 3 digits. It was over 100 yesterday, and it's probably going to be over 100 today. While it did get a little bit cloudy yesterday, it was definitely warm. And I think we went out twice yesterday. I went out once with my wife to drop my daughter off at jury duty, and then we went and we dropped off a pink slip to a vehicle that has been sitting abandoned on non-op. So we gave it to the guy who it's on his property. So now we're gonna arrange to have people pick it up and give him $100 for it, so that we're done with that vehicle. My wife, like I said, she got rid of the Saturn that we had, another vehicle that we had sitting here, non-opt for a while. I think next we're going to try to come up with another storage type unit in our tiny backyard, so that we can downsize everything in our trailer and then figure out what to do with that trailer. You know, do I want to fix it up and get it ready for somebody to live in, or fix it up to sell it, or fix it up to turn it into something else, right? Strip it out and turn it into a shop, an office, a studio, strip it out and recreate it into a new trailer, a livable tiny home type trailer, right? That's possible. Open it up a little bit, get rid of a closet and open it up, change the kitchen around a little bit, take the old refrigerator stuff out and just put in a regular smaller one, energy efficient, redo the bathroom, maybe remove the closet and have it a walk-through bathroom with a drain on the floor, right? So that you can just shower in the whole bathroom rather than in the tiny little closet thing that there is. But turn it into an actual, real, livable, fun, tiny home type thing, right? Maybe put a Murphy bed in there. Yeah, so we've got to deal with that, and then that takes us down to just our 2 vehicles that we drive. So, yeah, downsizing. Just for the sake of downsizing, so that when it comes time, you don't need to. There's no reason to downsize, because you've already, every couple of years, we like to downsize, clear everything out. Of course, lately it's been really difficult because me collecting all of this old crap, thousands of records, thousands of 8-tracks, hundreds of 45s, VHS tapes, stacks of machines, record players and 8-track players and VHS players and just cameras up the wazoo. Oh, that doesn't sound fun. I'll have to put a will together and will a bunch of this stuff to Joey, because he'll appreciate a lot of this weird shit at some point. Yep. To be young and active. That's it. I am old and inactive. I don't want to be reactivated. Don't reactivate me. Nope. Don't do it. Don't do it. Well, okay. I thought I heard a dog. Let me go see if I got a dog that wants to get out. Be right back. Nope. The house, she is still quiet. It's a quiet house. So, yeah. What am I going to do for a radio play? What I would like to do is find some old theme music from some of my favorite old science fiction radio shows. There's some theme music that was used not only over and over again in X-1 and Dimension X, but in a bunch of other radio shows too. It was like, here's these records that we have of theme music, that you can use, that's got, here's opening, here's closing, here's action, here's funny, here's drama, here's the different emotions, but the same theme, the same melody, right? So I need to find something like that so that I can use it to age my stuff even more. Try to find a way to mimic the announcer's speech pattern and the way they talk and their voice, their accent, whatever. It's a lot of work. I haven't done much actual creating on YouTube recently. Mostly I've just been handing over, finding stuff, fixing it up, and then passing it along. So I'm kind of out of it. So it would be nice to spend August fiddling around, July and August fiddling around, creating some new content. Because live is about as creative as I get nowadays. And that's about it. The video time machines, while it's fun and creative, I'm still just repackaging old stuff. And it's fun. I love it. I love those video time machines. And I'm glad that you guys have been watching and enjoy it too, because that's neat. And so that just makes me want to put stuff in there that you can appreciate. So, yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Yeah, everybody's still asleep here this morning, which is pretty cool. It's kind of a bummer that I didn't remember to move over that video for this morning. But we'll play it at some point. We'll get around to playing it. It's on my live computer, not on my graphics computer. So this one feeds into the mixer, and then everything else feeds into the mixer, and then this mixer feeds into this computer here that you're looking at, and I go live from there. And I also create a lot on this live computer. I take the hard drive, the external hard drive off of this computer, move it over to here, create, and then dump it back onto the external hard drive, and then move it over here and play it over here. And I created it, but I neglected to move it over. So there you go. Shame on me. I don't even remember where the hell it is, honestly. So there you go. There you go, boys and girls. How are you doing? Yep, exactly what I was thinking. Ah, fuck it. Ah, fuck it. I miss being active. I really do. I miss being able to get up in the morning, have a quick breakfast, slurp down some coffee, and then jump in the car or truck or van or whatever and go do something, right? And stay busy all day long, eating lunch in the car, eating lunch in the truck, and then coming back halfway through the day, having finished an entire day's worth of work with still another 6 hours, 7 hours of daylight, and able to do another project before I'd sit down and have some dinner and relax and get a couple of hours sleep and get up and do it again. And I miss being that active. I try it and I just can't keep up with myself. I can't. I try. I really try. And then I take a step back and look at myself and the way I'm moving and the way I'm walking and how my body is reacting to what I'm doing, and I'm like, oh my God, dude, go sit down. If it's that painful, go sit down. I'm like, dude, you're killing me just watching you. So then I'm like, I imagine what looks I might get, and I don't really care what people think, most of the time. But I'm thinking, wow, they must think I'm pretty worked. And they're right. So, I don't have a whole lot left in me as far as doing stuff. I try to save myself so that I can do stuff with my wife and daughter or friends that visit. I would love to go to Disneyland. It's a hard day. It's a hard couple of days if you do a back-to-back thing. But there are just things that I want to see from my past that are still there, and they're still somewhat the same. And I just want to go and enjoy a few things from my past, and that's one of them. Going to the beach is another. Going to like Venice Beach or Santa Monica Pier or something like that. Malibu, a place where it's familiar. Sierra Madre Canyon, Hollywood, San Diego. I just want to see a bunch of familiar places. I'd like to travel to some new places. You know, just take off in a direction and go to a place I've never been. But within driving distance, right? Yeah. So we'll see. I'm saving myself up for stuff like my daughter and her concerts, right? She got us tickets to go see Motion City Soundtrack again in Los Angeles. So that's December. So I'm saving myself up for that and whatever else happens. And then, you know, she knows that if she finds someone else who wants to go, who's going to be around to go to one of these shows that she and I have planned together, she's better off taking that person and going just because she's apt to have more fun, you know. And I'm totally great with that because that's my whole thing, is making sure she has fun. She puts in a lot of hard work at school, and she deserves to have fun. So there you go. I just looked in on her, and the dog was like, hey. But she was out. Light was still on, but she was out. I guess I should have turned off her salt lamp. I guess when I'm done here, I'll go do that. And then let her dog, Tootsie, out. So she probably just went, huh? She's probably got to get out. So it's just about time for some breakfast and some activity for the day. I don't know what that's going to be. I got to put the new tags on my van. I've got updated tags. I got to put those on, and we've got to go clean a house. So that's probably my morning here, is doing that. Going out, grabbing the license plate, bringing it in, cleaning it off, putting that thing on it. I'll probably just do it out there since it's a van. I'll just sit in the van and clean it off and do it. And get it back on there. And then, you know, go clean a house. And probably come home and take a nap. And then get up and make some videos and post some videos. Watch some TV with my family. That's about my usual day. That's it. You know, getting up at 4 a.m. to do this at 5. And then trying to remember to eat throughout the day. And doing a little stupid little shit on my channel. Yep. Pretty basic. I don't like to do too much because I can't handle it physically anymore, so I just don't. I don't go running around. I don't go hopping around. I go hiking and climbing and biking and all of that shit because I know it's just going to tear me up. So I try to do what I can do as often as I can do it. That's all I can. That's it, baby. And I don't lift a lot anymore. I don't do a lot of heavy-duty exertion because physically my body can't handle it. I don't have the muscle mass I used to have. Or the energy level that I used to have. So I keep it pretty mellow. Keep it pretty mellow. Try not to exert myself. Try to save my energy, since my calorie count is pretty low. But I miss doing stuff, and I think trying to find some more little projects to work on is going to help keep me from losing my mind. Right? So once again, tomorrow's 8-track day. We're going to look at a box of 8 tracks, comedy, and we'll fiddle around with the guitar, listen to some Grateful Dead, and then on Friday we're going to do more Apollo mission stuff, and look at a bunch of different Apollo mission space paraphernalia stuff. Like my little mug here, I'll pull the pens out of it, and we'll look at it up close on the up close camera, overhead camera, and see the different. I'll get my vest and bring it out, and we'll take a look at it, and because that's got the big missions patch on it, and whatever else I can dig up from the space program era, the Apollo mission era. I'll find a couple of things to watch if I can remember to move them over to my morning show file. And because my computer's run out of memory, my graphics computer has no memory at all I can use to create anything new. So I have to utilize the hard drive on it, create stuff on this one, and then move it over to here to play it. Because that's what I got now. So what I need is I need a new laptop, I need a desktop, and then I need a Chromebook. That's what I really need. And then I need another one of these audio-video mixers. If I had a secondary audio-video mixer, I could add in more cameras and have more shit going on. Right? So, but that's for a different season, a different guy, I guess. Because I don't know how long I'm going to be able to do this anymore anyway. I want to keep going. But, you know, we don't always get what we want. That's just the way it is, baby. Another Hitsky. Totally. I was just going over my head what I could call that science fiction, that fictional science fiction series. The X Dimension. That's a possibility. Because that's like Dimension X and X minus 1. X dimension. Huh? Kind of hokey. Well, now I'm out of coffee. I like words, so I'm just going to have to find a couple of cool words that sound good together. That's it. You know. Radically awesome. That sounds good together, right? Something like that. Something that's radically awesome. And I'm open to suggestions for words. I like words. Phase. That's a good word. Dimensional shift. There's a good one. Dimensional shift. But another word for shift. Dimensional. Dimensionscape. There's a new word. Dimensionscape. There you go. There's my new word, Dimensionscape. So I'll keep mulling that stuff around in my head to figure out a good title for my fictional science fiction show from 1955. And we'll call it a pilot. And we'll upload it as such. And we'll give it an air date, and we'll give it a whole fictional past. If I had the wherewithal, I would create its own little Wikipedia page so that you could see that it was actually a real show from back. Create some kind of graphics for it. Yeah. Dimensionscape. Dimensional overdrive. Something. Something that sounds like an older radio show. So it can't sound too futuristic. It can't sound too now. We've got to phrase it like it would have been phrased back then, with no references to anything after 1955, because anything after 55 would be fictional. Well, that's great. That's great. That's going to be great. All right, I'm starting to hear some noise in the house, so I think I'm going to cut it off now and go take care of some business and have some breakfast and do all of that stuff. So I'm going to cut it off here because it's just about time. All right, people. You know what to do out there, right? Do ya? 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 Yeah, baby. I don't know. I don't remember sometimes. I'm waiting for this to load up. There it is. All right, there we go. All right, people, I'm going to let you go for now. And before I go, I just want to say, as usual, be kind to each other, spread peace and love, not bullshit. Do something for yourself out there, but do something for somebody else too. Why? Because you can. It makes you feel good, makes somebody else feel good, makes the world a better place. You know, it's awesome stuff. Just help out. That's all you got to do. All right, people, most especially stay weird, because if you ain't weird, ain't nobody gonna be weird for you. Go out and smile at somebody and say, hi, man, you all right? That's weird. People will weird out on you. They'll be like, hey, man, what's this guy? He's weird. He cares. Do that. Do it. Just do it. Just do it. All right, people. You guys have a great day. Love you so much. Take it easy, Joey, Susie, William, James, and anyone else who's stopping by to say hello. All of those wallflowers. Love you guys. Take care of yourselves. And, of course, adios.